For 1 month every year, there's this hidden cosmic event that takes place, a period called Dhanurmāsa. From about mid-December to mid-January, the universe literally offers us a sacred pause, an intentional slowdown that's actually built right into its own rhythm.
So let me just start with a really wild question. What if you could amplify your spiritual efforts so intensely that a single day of devotion was actually worth 1,000 years of merit? Now, this isn't just a metaphor. According to ancient wisdom, this is the exact potential that gets unlocked during Dhanurmāsa. Okay, so how is that even possible? 1,000 years in a day. Well, it all comes down to looking at time in a totally different way. We're going to explore what's known as the universe's pre-dawn hour.
First up, just the basics. Dhanurmāsa is the month when the sun moves through the zodiac sign of Sagittarius, or Dhanu Rāśi. Now, astronomically, that's a predictable, normal event, but on a cosmic level, something truly incredible is happening.
All right, this is where you kind of have to rewire your brain about how time works. In this cosmology, one full human year, all 365 of our days, is considered just a single day for celestial beings, the Devas. Our entire year is their 24 hours.
So, here's the absolute kicker. This month, the Dhanurmāsa aligns perfectly with the Brahma Muhurta, that sacred pre-dawn period of that celestial day. So when we are in this month, the entire universe is in its most spiritually potent, most receptive state. We are, quite literally, waking up with the gods.
Now, this immense power leads to a really fascinating strategy. If the month is so potent, why are so many worldly activities intentionally stopped? This brings us to the whole concept of the zero month, which is a really strategic pause.
You see, Dhanurmāsa is also called Shunya-masa, which means the zero month. It's deliberately emptied of major worldly events, not because it's unlucky or inauspicious, but to create a vacuum that can be filled with something far, far greater, infinite spiritual potential.
And this means that traditionally, major life events, things like weddings, housewarmings, big purchases, are avoided. The whole goal is to minimize the distractions, clear the decks, and keep the mind focused exclusively on devotion and inner alignment. And this analogy just hits the nail on the head. The pause isn't a closed sign on the door of the universe. It's a quiet sign. The entire environment has been optimized for a higher purpose, for deep, deep introspection and contemplation. So, if we're not focused on expanding our worldly life, what are we supposed to be doing? Well, let's look at the daily practices for actually waking up with the gods.
The daily practice, or the vrata, is this beautiful, disciplined 4-step routine. It all starts with rising before the sun, right during that super potent Brahma Muhurta, and that's followed by bathing, prayers, and then 2 very specific, very special traditions. The first is the offering of a special food called mujgana. It's a simple dish of rice and moong dal. But get this, there's a real science to it. The Shastras specify exact ratios. A 2-to-1 ratio of dal to rice is considered supreme, and it's perfectly designed to support the body's digestive fire during the cold of winter. And then, at the very heart of this practice is the sound, the daily recitation of the Tirupavai. These are 30 beautiful hymns composed by the Saint Andal, who actually performed this very same vow about 5,000 years ago. Each day has its own hymn, guiding you step by step toward divine union.
So what's the ultimate payoff for all this discipline? Why choose to restrain ourselves in a world that's just obsessed with constant motion? Well, it's time to explore the real power of the pause.
The name of the month itself gives us a huge clue. Dhanu is the Sanskrit word for bow, and a bow is just a perfect symbol for what this month is all about: intense focus, controlled tension, and the storing of massive potential energy.
This is such a brilliant analogy. Think about it. To an outsider, pulling an arrow back on a bowstring looks like a retreat, right? It looks like you're moving away from the target. But we know that's the essential step for building the power you need for a forceful, accurate launch. That is the Dhanurmāsa.
So the payoff, then, isn't some immediate external progress. It's the consolidation of your internal energy. This period is said to build siddhis, or spiritual perfections, and it creates this powerful protective shield against all the negativity and lethargy that can be so common in the darkest month of the year.
So the big question is,
how does this ancient wisdom translate into our totally modern, chaotic world? Let's look at how Dhanurmāsa can actually be a powerful reset for modern life.
In today's terms, you can think of this month like putting a high-capacity battery on its charger. The device itself might look inactive, but what's really happening is it's connecting to a universal power source, getting ready for peak performance.
So what could this look like for you? Well, here's a kind of 30-day reset plan. You could use these 30 days to align your body clock by waking just a little bit earlier. Maybe practice a digital detox, cutting down on screen time, and intentionally swap that constant pressure for productivity with the power of just being present.
And ultimately, the amazing thing is the benefits don't just stop when the month does. The focus and the clarity that you cultivate during this sacred pause, that becomes a guiding light that you carry forward with you into the rest of the year. So we're left with this one final thought. In a world that is completely obsessed with moving forward, with the next thing, with constant progress, what incredible power could you unlock by choosing, just for a moment, to stand perfectly still?